Reactor, this is Gold Leader. We're starting our attack run.
Switch all power to
Front. Deflector screen. Switch all.
power to front. Deflector screen.
Switch to targeting computer. 3 marks at 210. Oh good, I can't maneuver.
Stay on target.
We're too close.
Stay on target.
Loosen up.
What's up, shipbuilders? Yep, I'm still on that Star Wars kick, and with a few more Rebel Fleet builds coming soon that I'm particularly excited about, so stay tuned. And if you're new here, in all of my builds, I strive to use the best ship parts in the game that I can reasonably make to fit the aesthetic of the ship, and by the best parts, I truly mean the best. You should check out my deep dive video on ship parts and stats, and I'll talk a bit about them with this build, but suffice to say, you'll need to be at least character level 60 and have invested heavily into your tech tree skill in order to build and fly this ship. If you aren't that high of a level, don't worry. You can swap out for other parts and still maintain the look of this ship with the same structural pieces. Your ship's performance just won't be quite as good until you unlock these specific parts. What are these parts? Well, for this ship, even with its thin profile, we're still able to fit a C-class reactor, the Pinch 8A. This is my go-to reactor. Even though it only provides 36 power points out of a maximum of 40, it far and away makes up for that with its hull points, which are effectively your ship's health points. At 1,950, that's over 600 points higher than the next highest reactor for HP. Next, the Grav drive. The way to choose a Grav drive is to find the drive with the lowest mass that still provides at least 28 light years of jump range, because that's the largest distance between two star systems. For this ship, the Aurora 12G Grav drive accomplishes that for a ship of this mass with my character's maxed astrodynamic skill. For the shield, we're using the Vanguard Bulwark shield to approximate our little droid friend in the back here, but this is also one of the top 3 shields in the entire game. Now, it's one of the best because it performs so well across all aspects that matter for a shield: shield health, regen rate, and mass. It has the 3rd highest shield health at 1,450, compared to the highest in the game of 1,600, so you're giving up 150 points of shield health, but you're saving on 90 points of mass. And we have a slightly faster regen rate. Next, the engines, which are a difficult choice on any ship because they play such a critical role in the look of the ship, but you want performance too. But for this ship, I'm doing something a bit different, and I'm using the Dun 71s. I've wanted to find a build where these fit, and given their Y shape, this seemed like the perfect match. These engines, while only having Class B top speed, are actually the highest for engine thrust over and above their own mass compared to any other engines in the entire game. What that means is you can carry a decent amount of cargo while still getting top acceleration, which is a hidden statistic the game doesn't really show you. For weapons, I'm also doing something I never do, and frankly I don't necessarily recommend it, although it is kind of fun. I'm equipping multiple slots with missiles. And that's because missiles take forever to reload. So even though they have the highest initial burst damage, if you don't destroy your target with that initial volley, and for higher level ships or on higher difficulty levels you likely won't, you're then just a sitting duck and unable to fire and while you wait to reload. But it is satisfying when you take out an enemy ship in one volley, and we have the most powerful burst damage missiles in the entire game, the CE-59s and the 280Cs. I did hold one spot for the Vanguard Obliterator Autoprojectors, as these are arguably the best ship weapons in the entire game, and that's due to their ability to benefit both from the energy weapon system skill and particle beam weapon system skill, plus you can place up to 6 of them on your ship, and you should always place all 6 to get their maximum damage output. And you can get them very early in the game just by completing the first quest of the Vanguard questline. As always, choose whatever weapons you want, and frankly, ship system parts that you want. And again, if you're curious and haven't checked it out yet, I have a very detailed, in-depth analysis of all the best ship parts, plus a spreadsheet where you can enter your character level and find the best ship parts available to you. I'll link to that below. Now, a quick aside before we jump into the detailed build, there are specific ship parts you'll need to shop for to complete this build. You'll want to go to HopeTown on Polvo and get 2 of the HopeTech HAB cross braces. After that, travel to the Stroud-Eklund Staryard in the Galleon system. I like to go here to get my reactor, shield, and weapons, all the high-end expensive pieces, including for this build the Kon-Tiki B600 bridge. finally go to New Homestead on Titan and pick up 4 of the NG-20 landing gear. And then from there I go to my Outpost Landing Pad for all of the structural parts. Alright, let's get into the build itself. As always, I'm going to leave my example ship here broken apart into its layers. We're going to use that as our guide. And we're going to start with the landing bay. You want this Deimos landing bay facing forward, and right behind it, Deimos belly. It's a nice, consistent, streamlined look to start us off. Then we're going to go grab some 2x1 HABS. Now for this ship, I like the Stroud HABS, but choose whatever you want for HABS, and choose whatever kind of HABS you want. I usually get at least one control station, which gives a lot of crew stations. But again, completely up to you on that. It's personal preference. And right away we're going to build the front of this ship. So get a couple of these Nova cowlings attached to that Stroud nose cap piece. And right behind it is another Stroud cap B. And just duplicate and flip for the other side. Now the bridge is this Kon-Tiki B600 bridge. You have to buy this from the Stroud-Eklund Staryard, and so it's not going to be in my shipbuilder menu. I'm just going to grab it from there. You can enter that from beneath. It's one of the only styles of cockpits you can grab, or you can enter from underneath, which gives it a cleaner look to the front here. And then same thing, our NG-20 landing gear. You got to get that from New Homestead on Titan. So I'm just going to grab those and bring them over, since they're not in my shipbuilder menu at my Outpost Landing Pad. Moving back, grab a couple of these M50 Ulysses tanks, one on either side. And then on the back here, our Pinch 8A Reactor. Again, buy that from the Stroud-Eklund Staryard as well. That'll sit on kind of the very back of our ship here. And just to show you, if I look at my reactors, I don't have that as an option at my Outpost Landing Pad. So again, you got to go to Stroud-Eklund to buy that one, just like the landing gear and the Kon-Tiki bridge. Copy those 2 fuel tanks, put them on either side of the reactor. And I'm going to delete some of these pieces just because I'll get a max piece exceeded limit if I continue to put too many pieces out here in my builder at one time. For the Grav drive, scroll down, we're going to grab that Aurora 12G, and that's going to sit right between those 2 fuel tanks. And then we're going to grab our docker. For this one, this Deimos docker will sit between the Grav drive and the reactor. Next, we're going to go back to our shield and grab our Vanguard Bulwark shield. And that'll sit right there in front of the Grav drive. Alright. Before we forget, get an equipment plate on top of that Grav drive. That's going to let us mount some weapons. And then on our structural pieces, get some of these Deimos wings. We're going to have these on either side of the docker. Those will kind of complete the look as we look at the ship from the top. Now, one thing really quick that I did, you don't have to, is I put some windows on either side here. It's not often I get a ship build where I feel like windows could actually make sense and not completely ruin the aesthetic, so I decided to go for it on this one. And again, I'm going to delete those since we're on to the back engine cells here. These HopeTech HAB cross braces, you're going to have to go to HopeTown in the Polvo system, or the Valo system, sorry, on Polvo is the planet. So I'm going to grab those. Those are HAB pieces. And then connecting those is another 2x1. And again, we're going to grab our landing gear, the N20 landing gear, and put those on the back. This ship has plenty of landing gear. You could put more cargo on this ship. You got enough landing gear to carry the mass. But for the aesthetic, I kind of liked having landing gear on either side of these nacelles as well. Now on the front, we're going to have these Tayo nose caps. Let's go ahead and bump that up one, like that. And then while we're near the Tayo pieces, go ahead and grab this Tayo mid cap. And we're copy our equipment plate and put that on top of there as well, so we can get some more missiles. And then behind that, you could put another similar Tyocat piece, or we're going to put this Galleon cargo hold. There's also a Stroud piece, kind of a Stroud pipes piece that you could put behind here, instead of grabbing these HopeTech pipes that aesthetically might fit. I went ahead and wanted some cargo space. With the B-class engines, these Dun 71s we're going to put on now, it gives us enough thrust to have some decent cargo space while not losing engine performance. And so I wanted to make sure we took advantage of that on this ship. Most of my ship builds are kind of lightweight combat fighters with Class A engines, but in this case I wanted to make sure we had some decent cargo space on kind of an all-rounder Class B build. Alright, for the other side, pretty simple. We can just clone or copy our pieces from one side to the other, flip them, and connect them. It's really kind of that simple. I'm going to select all of these since they don't need to be flipped, and just copy and bring them over. Copy our weapon mount. Grab our porthole and copy that. And our nose cap. And then last we'll grab our landing gear. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab these colors. If I grab the color and I just toggle left, right, and then press accept, that will give me the color in my palette, and then I can apply it to the whole ship. Just like that. And so if I'm coming in and making adjustments to my ship or upgrading or adding parts, I'll usually grab a color from another piece and then apply it to the new piece that I'm putting on, doing that little trick. So just select the piece with the color I want, toggle left, right, hit accept, and that'll put the color in my palette to use later. Alright, we'll delete those. We're nearly there. I'm going to switch this to a control station, which will get us some more crew stations once we put our weapons on. Again, use whatever HABS you want. Let's go grab our weapons. First, Vanguard, Obliterator, Autoprojectors, and then we're going to scroll down and grab our missiles, CE-59s and the 280Cs. Now, for whatever reason, in my ship builder, I have to kind of leave a weapon piece out and copy from that. If I copy from one that's already mounted, it doesn't want to mount the copied one. I don't know why, but whatever. And placing these Vanguard Obliterators on, just so I have one weapon that will reload at a decent rate, in addition to my missiles that will take forever. Hopefully keep me in a fight. Alright, now let's put on the 280Cs. I'm going to put two underneath the front here, and the last one up top on that equipment plate on top of our grav drive. Just like that. Let's go ahead and assign those. And you'll see as I do that, all of my stats will even out and be colored white, which means everything is the same as it was initially. I'm going to go ahead and change this to a workshop. There you'll see my crew stations are now at 10. So we've recreated our ship exactly. Get my captain's quarters and armory. Doesn't like my docker. I'm just gonna pull the weapon off. There we go. The docker should reach above the weapon. If you get that, just kind of delete, reattach. It should be fine. And that's the ship. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior. Looks pretty good sitting on the landing pad, if I do say so myself. And with a landing bay facing front, pretty simple to get in and out. Now we come right in, the docker is just above our heads, and to either side we've got those cross braces which give easy access into each 2x1 on either side. So the armory on the port side, captain's quarters on the starboard side, which I always like to have so you get a bed so you can rest, heal yourself. And then right off the landing bay, the control, or the workshop, and then the control station, which gives you all the crew slots. And then we'll come up the ladder into our bridge, which I like this bridge, except for, you see how all the crew likes to sit right around you in a semicircle, which they sit so close that they all just want to talk to you at the same time. So, be forewarned. Hope you enjoyed this ship, and until next time, keep building.